Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Grab a cup of tea, water, whatever you want, because I have a feeling that we're about to sit down and have a little chat. So a few days ago, I picked up Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I ended up finishing the entire book. By the time I reached the final page, I filled it up with sticky notes and tab markers and highlights that marked all of the ideas that really stood out to me. But interestingly enough, the chapter I kept thinking about wasn't the last one, it was actually the very first. That's why I wanted to make this video. Just to be clear, I'm not here to review the entire book or summarize every chapter, because honestly, I think it's one of those books that's best experienced personally. So instead, I just wanted to go back to where it all started and share the thoughts that that chapter planted in my mind, let's say, because those ideas stayed with me throughout the rest of the book. Looking back, I think that the first chapter laid the foundation for everything that followed, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Well, to be honest with you, I found myself stopping every few pages just to think. Have you ever read something that made you really just put the book down for a second because your brain needed time to process it? That's exactly what happened to me. I would read a paragraph and then close the book, stare into space, and think, wait, that actually is so true. I wasn't expecting the first chapter to make me reflect on my own life this much. So one of the first ideas that really stayed with me was the idea of becoming just 1% better every single day. At first, I honestly thought only 1%, that doesn't really sound like much. But then I started thinking about how often we give up on things because we expect huge changes overnight. We want to see results immediately, and when we don't, we assume we're failing, which is not true. But if I take you on the other side, what if we've been looking at the progress the wrong way the entire time? What if life isn't changed by one massive decision, but by hundreds of tiny ones that almost seem too small to matter? I don't know. There was something comforting, to be honest, because it takes away so much pressure. I don't have to become a completely different person by tomorrow. I just have to become a tiny bit better today than I was yesterday. And that naturally led me to another idea that I absolutely loved. James Clear talks about how people often overstimulate the impact of one defining moment and underestimates the power of consistency. And honestly, I had to stop reading after that, because when you think about it, we celebrate the big moments all the time. We celebrate graduations, promotions, weight loss, achievements, the milestones that we achieve. But nobody really talks about all the ordinary days that made those moments possible. Nobody celebrates the morning you woke up, even though you didn't feel like studying or didn't feel like waking up. Nobody applauds you for choosing to go on a walk or for reading 10 pages of a book instead of scrolling on your phone the entire day. Those moments seem so insignificant, but maybe they're actually the moment that really shape our lives the most. And another thing that really made me think was the idea that every small action is a vote for the person that you are becoming. I loved that sentence. I loved that sentence so much because it completely shifts the way I think about habits. Instead of asking myself, did I achieve my goal today? Maybe I should be asking myself, what kind of person did my choices help me becoming today? Every decision, no matter how small, says something about our identity. Every time I choose to study instead of procrastinating, I'm becoming someone who's disciplined. Every time I choose, for example, kindness over frustration, I'm becoming someone who's compassionate. It's almost like we're consistently voting for the future version of ourselves without even realizing it. Do you relate to that too? Another idea that really stayed with me was the way this chapter made me rethink goals altogether. Don't get me wrong, I think goals are important. They give us something to look forward to, they remind us why we started, and they can be incredibly motivating. But I also realized that simply wanting something isn't enough. We can literally spend hours imagining the person that we want to become, yet overlook the small routines that quietly shape the person that we want to become every single day. It made me stop and ask myself, like, am I spending more time thinking about the life I want, or am I actually building it through the choices I make every day? And honestly, that question has been sitting with me ever since. Like, it reminded me that the life we're hoping for isn't built by dreaming. It's built through the little things we choose to do consistently, even on days when we don't feel like doing it. The chapter also reminded me that the opposite can also be true. Like, we often tell ourselves that one bad decision doesn't matter. It's just one bad day, it's just one skipped workout, it's just one unhealthy meal. And well, that's true. One decision usually won't change your entire life. In this book, the author points out that these choices also compound over time. Like, the same way good habits slowly build us up, unhealthy habits also pull us away from the person that we want to become. And I found that really interesting because it made me really realize that life isn't usually changed by one huge mistake or one perfect decision. Maybe that's the biggest lesson I took from this chapter. Our habits quietly shape our lives, one ordinary day at a time. One of my absolute favorite ideas from this chapter, though, was something that had nothing to do with the productivity and everything to do with happiness. I think so many of us, including me sometimes, keep postponing happiness until the next milestone. Like, we tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I graduate, or I'll be happy when I finally relax after the exam, or I'll enjoy life once I reach my goal. But what if we're allowed to enjoy the process too? What if we're allowed to appreciate who we're becoming instead of only celebrating only once we're arrived there? That really stayed with me because I think I've spent so much time focusing on destination that I've forgotten to appreciate the journey itself that got me there. Because there is ups and downs, and then I reached, the feeling process that I went through really matters, and it deserves to be appreciated and celebrated too. So again, these are simply the reflections that stayed with me after reading the first chapter. And there's a personal journey in this book, and I really would recommend everybody to read it. I want this video to stay focused on the simplest thing, where it all begins. And the reason I'm doing that is very simple. I don't want to spoil the experience for anyone who decided to pick up this book and read it. Part of the beauty about reading it is those little moments of, aha, this really happened. This is what happened. This is what it meant. This is what I went through. These moments for yourself. And I wouldn't want to take that away from anyone. So rather than trying to summarize the book or take anything away from anyone, I thought it would be much more meaningful to simply share what chapter 1 planted in my own mind, because those first ideas alone were enough to completely change the way I think about progress, about habits, and even the way I treat myself on days when I don't feel like doing anything. So if you've already read Atomic Habits, I would love to know what ideas stayed with you the longest. And if you haven't picked it up, maybe this little conversation has encouraged you to, give it a chance. I genuinely think it's one of those books that's worth experiencing for yourself, one page at a time. So we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day with me. These conversations have honestly become one of my favorite parts of creating content, and I love that we get to learn and grow together and share this experience together. Till next time, take good care of yourselves and be kind to yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!